Welcome friends, it is Kendra from Ploughman's Backyard and we are on our last video. It is week 4 of the Every Bit Gets Counts challenge, and in this last week we have continued putting away some corn, continued doing some of the things we've already been doing. This is a great way to put away corn on the cob for the fresh for those winter months. We've also been suggested to possibly try and do our corn in the husks, but this particular method, we just blanch it, freeze it, and it is ready for use in the winter. The next few things that we've been doing is continuing with our dehydrator. We dehydrate a lot of things. I've said this many times on our channel. One of our favorite things to do besides herbs is fruits. We also love doing many other things. Doing mango is one of our favorite things to do. We love dehydrated mango in the winter. It's a little bit more expensive to buy, but this time of year you can usually go and pick up boxes of mango for relatively cheap. And when we dehydrate these mangoes, we eat them fresh as like a snack or have them for breakfast. Another thing you can do is add them to oatmeal in the winter, dehydrate it and just rehydrate it back into your oatmeal. There's a lot of really great ways of utilizing your dehydrator in the fruits that you do. We love the dehydrated mango, especially since if you wanted to buy dehydrated mango from the store, it is just full of chemicals and sugar. And the mango that we do here, we don't add anything to it and it is sweet enough, and we really do enjoy doing that. So it's one thing that we tend to try to do every year as well. So next on our Every Bit Gets Counts challenge, we have actually went out and bought bushels of tomatoes, specifically paste tomatoes. They're great for sauces. Our garden isn't doing well with tomatoes this year, but you know, that's okay. We went out and we got these boxes for about $8.99 or $8.88. And I did so many tomatoes. We did canned tomatoes, as you've seen in previous video. But we also did some roasting tomatoes. Roasting tomatoes is a really great way of just changing up the flavor and giving yourself some different flavors for sauces. This way, we bake the tomatoes and we put like lots of different vegetables in, which is another way. I find this a really easy method. I feel like I'm kind of cheating when I do this method just because it's so easy. And what we do is we bake them in the oven, about 400 or so for about an hour and a half. You can add anything to this roasted tomato. So we like to add onions and garlic, salt, fresh herbs from the garden, olive oil, peppers, anything. And that's a nice thing about doing this is you don't have to watch your acidity as you would when you are canning, because you're freezing it. So, and this makes it really simple just to add to things like lasagna and stuff, or macaroni or spaghetti. Just having that fresh sauce out of the garden, and it just has this phenomenal taste. Again, I was able to do like batch after batch in our oven, getting bushels done really quickly. It's just another way, another method. If you have the means to have if you have a freezer and do it, it just adds another flavor, another technique of using up your tomatoes. As we continue the Every Bit Gets Counts challenge, every day there's something to do, something to put away, and we have now beans. We have beans in abundance. We have been waiting all summer for beans. Our beans were very late this year. As you can see, we have purple beans. If you're not familiar with them, these are the Royal Bush Burgundy beans. They are one of my favorites to grow. We get great yields from this bush bean. And they're a green bean. When you cook them and steam them, they turn green. I've canned these and they still turn out really great when you can them. But I was running really behind in time for this particular day. So I ended up just freezing a bunch of these beans, which I find that just when you're freezing them, sometimes, like a lot of people can blanch their beans. I find I don't like them blanched, so I don't blanch these beans. But these beans, when I freeze them, are really great to add to casseroles in the winter. Doing bean casseroles or just adding them into a separate casserole and as an ingredient. And then if you're wanting to have like a fresh side dish of beans, that's when I would go to more of my canned beans, processed beans that way. But this is a really easy method. Again, when you're running short on time, like I was this particular day, we actually really love using our food saver for this too. It saves a lot of room in your freezer, plus it keeps that freshness in for quite a long time. So we recommend, if you don't have a food saver, it is well worth the investment of getting one. Well, today for the Every Bit Counts challenge, we are heading out to the bush and we're going to be going berry picking. So these berries are free and they are in abundance out in some of the logging trails and bushes around our area in Crownland. So we're just going to head and do that and see how many berries we can get and put away in the freezer for the winter.
Oh, he's so tiny.
He's like, don't kill me. Look at him. He's so cute.
Oh, he's so cute. I'd rather have a baby snake.
Going berry picking is something we haven't done it in the last couple of years, but we made time to do it this year. I'm so happy we did. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way of getting outside and enjoying just being in the country, being in nature, spending time with your family, spending time with your friends. This particular day we went berry picking. It was the day before bear season had started, so we were on the eye and had our ears listening, making sure there was no bears in the woods. So I'm really thankful we got the time to get out, and it just makes harvest season and canning and preparation a little bit more fun for the whole family. If you have the ability to do that, I definitely recommend going out in nature and just seeing what nature has to offer you for your winter months. And berries they're great for, we use them in smoothies. You can use them for pies. You can use them for jams. We went with our neighbor Pam from Hidden Blessings Homestead. If you haven't heard of her channel, go and check it out. We'll leave a link below. And it's something that we have enjoyed in the past doing together, and I'm hoping that we will continue to do so. It can be quite intimidating having, just one or two females out in the bush, but when you take a few other people with you, it is a little bit more relaxing. So this was something we really enjoyed this month, being able to just get out. If you haven't been blackberry picking, I do recommend wearing some thick clothes. It was a very hot day, but as you can see, we are fully and well dressed because blackberries have incredible thorns and they hurt, even more so than the raspberries. So make sure you dress well if you're going out looking for blackberries. And my daughter came across a wasp nest in the ground in a log. So just be careful, those little tips when you're going out in the bush. You can expect the unexpected. So we didn't get as many blackberries as we thought we were. There was still a lot more coming. Every year seems to be different. So if we went one year at a certain week, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be ready the same week. So we may have had to have gone back maybe in another week's time, and we would have got more of a harvest. But we didn't do too bad, and we're thankful for the free food that was there and that we did get, and that we got to be out in nature. So for this particular thing, what I do is I'm just like laying it out on a parchment paper, and that way I can see where the bugs and the stems and things are, and I can separate them, take them out. And then what I do is I take them and put them in a strainer, wash them in a little bit of vinegar, and then once they're dried off, I'll put them back on the parchment paper onto a tray and then go and freeze them before I bag them up because they're easier to separate. Once these berries are frozen, they're actually quite tasty. My daughter likes to have them as a little fresh frozen treat. So trying to bake them quickly before she gets to them was my goal at this point. But like I said, we got about 2.5 bags of fresh, frozen, and free berries to add to our stock for the winter months, which, every bit counts. And that's just berries we didn't have to buy and food that we wouldn't have had if we didn't go out picking that day. So very thankful that we did that.